This is what happens when you get struck by lightning. Hello, I'm Eric Chapman, emergency medicine physician, owner and medical director of Allegiance Health of Southwest Florida here in Naples, Florida. And in today's video, we're gonna go over some things that happen when people get struck by lightning. We're gonna go over how lightning can affect different organs in the body, like the brain, the heart, the eyes. And we're gonna talk about some fun facts regarding lightning strikes. So we're in Southwest Florida, and Florida can be considered the lightning strike capital of the world. And just to give you a few facts about lightning strikes, there are 47 deaths per year to lightning strikes. And every second, there's 100 lightning strikes that hit Earth. So 100 lightning strikes every second on Earth. Now, interestingly enough though, 70 to 90% of lightning strike victims survive. And this has to do with what we call a direct strike versus an indirect strike. Now, the world record holder for the most amount of lightning strikes for one person is a gentleman named Ray Sullivan, and he got struck by lightning apparently 7 times during his lifetime. Can you believe it? Now, like we said a little bit earlier, Florida is considered the lightning strike capital of the world, and lightning has so much energy. It can have the amount of energy to light a 100-watt light bulb continuously for 3 months straight. That's the amount of energy we're talking about here. So let's go over the mechanisms of what happens when lightning goes from cloud to ground. And that brings us to our first kind of differentiation here, which is what's called a direct lightning strike versus an indirect lightning strike. So with a direct lightning strike, that energy and that electricity is transmitted straight to the person. Usually this results in death. The amount of voltage, the amount of energy that's distributed to the person, this will knock someone over, cause injury, stop their heart, stop their brain. This is direct lightning strike. Most of the time, however, you have what's called an indirect strike, where you go from cloud to ground, and some of that electrical energy is transmitted to the person going up their feet. Now, of course, the voltage can still be very, very strong, and we've seen reports of ground strikes and someone being anywhere as near as 30 to 40 to 50 feet. That's how far away you can be from the actual impact when you're dealing with a lightning strike. So you have direct and indirect strikes. Then we try and differentiate it and say, okay, well, what does that electrical energy do to the brain? What does it do to the heart? What does it do to the skin? And what does it do to the eyes? So when we talk about not just the electrical current and the massive amounts of electrical current that are transmitted into someone's body, we also talk about the heat production. There is a substantial amount of heat that is produced. And with substantial amount of heat production, you get a rapid expansion of air. And that's what actually creates the sound of thunder. Now, with that expansion of air, you will actually have a blast injury, almost like an explosion. You have this pressurized air system that's moving like a blast injury away from the lightning strike. So with any kind of blast injury, you think about, well, what could happen to the patient? They can be moved by that pressure wave, and they can be thrown several feet away, and that can cause injury or trauma. And the blast and pressure can even cause damage to eardrums and perforated eardrums and things of that nature. So when we talk about heat production, we get a rapid expansion of air that can create a big pressure wave, which causes thunder, of course, or the sound of thunder. And we have blast injuries, similar to explosions. The heat production also can cause burns on the skins. If people are wearing metallic jewelry, you can get really bad 3rd-degree burns, 2nd-degree burns, things of that nature. Very interesting thing that happens too, and we'll show a picture now, is as that electrical current moves through the body, red blood cells will leave capillaries, will leave blood vessels, and kind of migrate up into the epidermis, or the top layer of the skin. And you will get these real classic kind of fern-like patterns, or what we call Lichtenberg figures. And there's some really, really interesting figures that you can see on people's backs or people's chests when that electrical energy has been transmitted onto their skin. Now, that high heat, that high light exposure, that energy can actually kind of fry your eyeballs. and you can get what's called cataracts. Cataracts is this graying out of the cornea or the skin of your eye. Now, usually cataracts happen very slowly and methodically as you age, but with lightning strike victims, cataracts can actually form in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. So that's an interesting thing that happens to people who've had an experience with lightning strikes. Of course, because of this electrical energy, it can cause the heart to stop, and most deaths from lightning strikes are from cardiac arrest. There are some interesting things that happen to the brain. People who survive lightning strikes, there are a lot of case reports of a lot of neurocognitive deficits. These patients can have behavioral disturbances, they can suffer depression, they can have mood changes, behavioral changes, they can suffer seizures. So even though these patients may survive a lightning strike, a lot of them will have long-lasting neurocognitive deficits. So lightning strikes, very, very important, especially during the summertime here in Florida with the rainy season. We have a really good system set up with our park systems and our school systems. They have these really advanced technology that if they sense, they have these apparatuses outside where if they sense thunder or lightning from several miles away, it will create an alert to make sure that you're not on fields, right? You don't want to be in open fields or under solitary objects that can conduct electricity. So this is just a little bit of information about lightning strikes, what it can do to the brain, what it can do to the heart, what can it do to the skin, what can it do to the eyes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much. Have a good day.